Hi guys, this week we are talking about weather forecasting and the tools that scientists use to make those forecasts. This week I have also highlighted the key vocab words in yellow to help you better make a list of what's important and complete your video guide. Alright, so when you check the weather, you probably look at something like this, but scientists are looking at something like this. So they have all these different tools so that they can bring you this information. This is weather for dummies, and now you are smarties, so we're going to be talking about what scientists use to make these predictions. Alright, last time we talked about high and low pressure systems. This is just a review of that. So high pressure systems are represented by this blue H. They're cool and dry. They produce good weather. So remember we said H is happy. You're happy when the weather's nice, so high pressure. And there's blue skies, and that's why the H is blue. For low pressure, it's the opposite. This is moist air, and it often leads to storms. It's represented by a red L. You can remember this because red is a more negative color, scary, warning, storms are coming. And L is low. When the weather's bad, you feel low and sad. A new thing that we haven't talked about before is a trough. On weather maps, these look like these brown hash lines. They are long areas of low pressure, and they lead to cloudy and rainy weather. So when we have several days of rain, it's possible that we're in a trough. All right, so here is an example weather map. You can see here that there's a cold front moving through. Remember that cold fronts are the blue triangles. They are like icicles. This cold front is moving in this direction because the arrows are pointing in that direction. Here is a warm front. The red circles, you can remember the circles are like suns, and that is moving in this direction up towards Alabama and Mississippi. Several high pressure areas, and then here are the troughs that I was talking about, these hash mark lines. Okay, so take a minute, try to do these 3 questions. When you've answered them, press play and see if you got them right. All right, number 1, Pennsylvania is here. There's a high pressure H right on Pennsylvania, and so the winds there are probably very light. It's probably nice weather there. In Mississippi and Alabama, there's a storm moving through here and also some low pressure. These fronts are going to collide. And so what you would be seeing there are definitely some nimbus clouds, stratonimbus, or even cumulonimbus if these are more severe storms. In the west, so over here, it's likely that it will be cold in the southwest or colder than normal. Also, there are some troughs here, and so probably pretty rainy, pretty cloudy. On the coast of California, same thing. Here's a long trough and also a low pressure, so it's rainy and cloudy. All right, now we're going to talk about some tools that scientists use to actually predict the weather. The first one is a barometer. So scientists know whether the pressure is high or low using this tool. You might have one if you have a thermometer or something that looks like a clock. It might actually be a barometer, which is measuring the air pressure. You also can build your own barometer using just a balloon, and if the pressure is high, it will push the balloon downwards, which makes the stick rise, so it rises in pressure. And if it's low pressure, then the balloon can expand, which causes the stick to dip down. Up next is dew point. Dew point is the temperature at which water starts to condense. So normally when water is condensing, the temperature is cooling because it's turning from a gas back into a liquid. If there's a high dew point, it means there's a lot of moisture in the air, which is directly related to humidity. This is measured with a tool called a psychrometer, which is pictured right over here. All right, next is relative humidity. Relative humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air compared to the maximum amount of moisture the air can hold at a certain temperature and pressure. So if you hear that it's 100% humidity, that means that as much water as could possibly be in the air is in the air. And those are the days that are really muggy, sweaty. They're usually very hot days in the summer, and it makes it feel actually hotter than the real temperature. All right, we're going to talk about some technologies that scientists can use besides these tools that are pretty low tech. And these are satellites, which can be used to monitor clouds, pollution, fires, ocean currents, and ice, and they orbit the Earth. Hopefully you remember they orbit the Earth in the thermosphere or even the exosphere, and they can be used to send data back to Earth about the weather. In the troposphere and the stratosphere, scientists can use weather balloons, which carry instruments like barometers and thermometers and psychrometers up into the atmosphere. So this can be used to measure pressure, temperature, humidity, and wind patterns. The balloon looks small in this picture, but they're actually giant, and very thick balloons. Another technology that has made weather prediction easier is radar. Radar stands for radio detection and ranging, and this is what you look at when you're trying to see if a snowstorm is coming or if there's a big thunderstorm coming. It's often what they show on TV if there's a severe weather alert. And that can tell scientists the size and the distance away that big storms are, such as rain or snowstorms. Really useful in telling people to take shelter if there's a tornado or a hurricane coming. Radar uses change in the frequency of different signals to determine the wind and tell how far away the storm is. So these radars are able to produce many different views of the storm. They look like this. So the Doppler radar that's used by the scientists at WRAL would look like this, a giant tower with this big white ball on the top. When scientists are reporting data that they've gathered from a weather balloon or a satellite or a radar, they use these special symbols. And so we're going to talk about what this means. The different symbols and numbers are all related to the weather patterns that are currently happening in a location. So the letter A here is the temperature. So right now it's 76 degrees. Letter B represents the current weather. So you would go over here, use this key, and you would see that the three little apostrophes means that it's drizzling, and it's a moderate drizzle. So moderate drizzle, 76 degrees. The letter C tells you the dew point. So at 68 degrees, the water will start to condense. Letter D tells you the low cloud type. So once again, you would use this key over here to see that it's developing cumulus clouds. Letter E is the pressure change. So the pressure has recently risen by 28, and it is rising. I'm using this right here, this key. The pressure in the last 3 hours has risen, and now it is steady. So that's what this symbol is. I botched the wrong one. It's actually rising and then steady right here. Okay, so after that is letter G, that's telling the wind speed and direction. So to tell the wind speed and direction, scientists use this feather. And this one has 3 hash marks. Each hash mark, the long hash marks, represents 10 knots, which is the unit for wind. So this is 10, 20, and then a half mark is a 5 knots, and so this is 25 knot winds. H is the pressure from the barometer, so right now it's 159. I is the high cloud type, and so you would use this key over here. This is cirrostratus. So remember, cirrus are high-level clouds, cumulus are low-level clouds. And then J, the circle, is telling you the cloud coverage. So this is a half circle, which means that the cloud coverage is 1/2. So you can get all of that information just from this little diagram. We're going to try our own next. All right, go ahead and press pause and see if you can get the answers to what this means. I've attached a little key here for you to use as you're doing this. Then press play, see if you got it right. All right, here are the answers. The cloud cover is half because of the half circle. The wind speed is represented by the feather, so 10, 20, 25. The temperature is 75 degrees. This is in Fahrenheit. The precipitation is this symbol here. It's a light thunderstorm. It's right over here. The wind direction is southeast because it's pointing to the southeast, the feather. So north, south, east, west, southeast is this way. Air pressure, 25. And the pressure from this arrow is falling then rising. It has fallen by 13. Here's just an example of what a weather map would look like if the stations from all these different places had reported their data. Looks pretty crazy, so it's awesome that meteorologists make this more simple for people who don't have a key right next to them to look at. All right, that's it for this time. Don't forget to do your discussion post, and I'll see you next week. Bye.